Hi everybody, this is Catalin, and today we're going to talk about the one decision that has changed my whole life and my story of how I started with entrepreneurship. Good morning, this is like 5:30 in the morning right now. I have a call with my team and yeah, this is gonna be a great day. I'm looking so forward to it. Gotta go back to the shooting place and actually film the rest of the things we need to film, and then we're gonna do the rest. So, the vibe. Okay, so this is Catalin, and for today's vlog, I really want to tell you a story. So right now I'm working on the strategy, and I was thinking how small decisions in your life can really impact your whole life. So here's what I mean by that. I think all of us have in our life kind of some small decisions that we've done that, if you look back at something big that has happened in your life, is because of that small thing, right? So that's kind of like fascinating to think about. I was sitting today, this is actually what happened. I was sitting today and I was thinking like, okay, how did I ended up here? You know, like I'm right now in this hotel room where we're filming right now. The film crew is filming some really cool footage for a client that we're working on, and we're working with all these clients around the world. I have 15 plus people working in Increased Media in our agency, and I get to speak at massive conferences around the world. I get to talk to a lot of big people, a lot of corporations, a lot of CEOs, a lot of high influencers, a lot of high and important people, and I get to learn from all these people, and I get to meet extraordinary people and have myself in all these situations and be in all these cool places, and how this whole thing has happened. Especially that for me, I really would love what I'm doing, you know? So I love this agency thing, I love it. So how this whole thing happened, and I went back decision by decision by decision and by decision, and turns out your decisions really make up your life, you know? So here's kind of the first point I believe that has impacted the domino effect for me to end up here where I am right now. So I was about 15 years old, and here I am. I have never read a book in my life, probably. I probably have read a book total. I was always tricking my professors. I was not tricking them, they knew, but they kind of let me pass because I didn't want to read, and I didn't want to do homework that implied me reading and stuff like that. I just didn't like it, you know? So I was at this movie with a couple of friends, and I don't remember the exact movie, but what happened is there was this thing in the movie, and I asked my friend in the right, like, what do you think that is? Like, why would they do that? Like, there was like maybe like 8 circles in a piece of furniture or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but just bear with me. And the point is that my friend said, oh, that's a subconscious marketing trick they're doing on you in order to influence you. And I was like, whoa, like that seems like a big deal. I don't know if it was a subconscious marketing trick, blah, 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 whatever, but what it sparked in me, it has sparked a curiosity. So I, after the movie, went home, and as you can see, I don't even remember the movie, but I remember that thing. Because it was an emotional thing for me. I went home and I started to look like subconscious marketing and subliminal marketing and all these things. So I found out more about that, and like how like Coca-Cola was doing like shady stuff on their products in order to like kind of spike people's emotions subconsciously, blah 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 blah, all that stuff. And then I ended up on this YouTube video of Bob Proctor. That was explaining like the circle with the conscious mind and subconscious mind, and then the body, and how our decisions are really made in the subconscious, blah 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 blah. And that really hit home with me. It's probably a simple concept for a lot of you that are watching or not, but for me it really hit home, you know? So I went down that route, and I found myself going through his programs, going through his teaching programs, like buying a bunch of books, and I found myself in the next 30 to 40, 50 days just studying marketing, studying psychology, and getting really absorbed by that topic. And it was fascinating, but because for the first time in my life, I was doing something because I wanted to. I was reading because I wanted to. Like that seemed like an impossible idea for me, but I was doing it. I was mind blown every single day studying marketing and psychology. Like, oh, you mean like if they see another person, there's this thing, mirror neurons, that just see what the other person is feeling, and like, whoa. And like all these concepts like subconscious mind, conscious mind, biology, neuroscience, like all these things blew my mind every day, and I was so fascinated by them. I started to learn more in that space. And what I did next is I made a decision that really, I think, changed my whole life. And that was to start reading every day for the next year. So what I did is I was going to school. Remember, I was like, at this time I was probably 15 and a half. So I was going to school every day in the morning, 7:30 or 8 o'clock. So what I did is from 6 to 7 o'clock, I'm just gonna wake up 1 hour before, 1 hour earlier, and just read. Of course, something that I did and that really helped, I think, as well, is that fact that I was reading in English. So I'm originally from Bucharest, Romania. Like, that's obvious, not an English native country. And reading in English really helped me a lot, because now I'm just communicating in English every day with the clients, with outside people, with outside clients, outside team, having meetings, conferences, all these things that are in English. That thing helped me a lot. So coming back, I started reading all these books, and I was reading 1 hour a day. And after that, I stumbled upon like reading faster and all those things. I stumbled upon Tai Lopez and all these kind of like reading gurus. And I think I read like 100 books in the span of a year, or over a year and something. And that kind of like laid the foundation for me to find my passion, which is obviously marketing, psychology, people, understanding them, how to sell to them, how to do that. Fast forward to today, I'm having this agency that's obviously in the field of marketing, psychology, and understanding people, which is what I love. I'm traveling around the world. I'm doing all these crazy things, and that's just because I made that decision in that moment to start researching for that thing. I made that's it. My whole life, you could say that has been predicated on that freaking movie that I don't even remember, on going to that freaking movie, you know? So I think there's a couple of lessons that need to kind of like, that have been like stumbled into my mind. And one of them, I believe, is one, always develop your ability to make better choices and decisions, because if you make better choices, you're gonna be stunned by how things end up, you know? And number two is just trust that by exposing yourself to a lot of things, you're gonna find that thing that is gonna make you actually like really curious and really passionate about something that you're just not gonna stop, and you're just gonna become really good at that. I mean, for me, finding my passion, because a lot of people ask me about this, was really just realizing that, oh, I love marketing, I love psychology, what can I do to kind of do both? Well, I guess marketing. I mean, can you do that about that? Oh, but there's this thing, internet marketing, let's do that. And after I learned that, oh, why don't you do an agency? Oh, let's do an agency. Like, it just seemed so natural. And yeah, I think it's unbelievable, the power of making decisions and just sticking to them. And believe me, in this process of reading, I believe in this process, like in that first year after I started reading, I don't believe I've gotten any results in the first year. So by any results, I mean, I was not making any more money, I was not reaching my goals, I was not doing any of those things. So of course there were a lot of times in which I was like, maybe I should quit and not do this anymore. But something in me just kept pushing and and it's been like, it was like, no, just keep doing it. Just have trust in it. And just do it for 2-3 more years. And if it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen. And probably some of that discipline has been entangled and embedded in me by my 8 or 9 years of professional dancing. There's probably a lot of variables, but my point is, I think life is simple if you just find something and stick to it, you know, and stick to it enough so that you know if it's working or not. That's a major problem I'm seeing, is that people just do stuff and they don't stick to it enough so that they know it's something either good or bad. They just stick to it for 4 days or 4 minutes and they're like, it's not working. Well, of course it's not working, you know? The key word is yet, okay? So that's kind of like something I wanted to tell you about that's impacted me a lot. This fact of going back and going through my decision-making process and seeing what actually produced what outcome, you know? And it's something that you need to think about, because when you're going through to your day, taking that opportunity, taking that chance, taking that meeting, taking that job, that internship, could eventually change your life. You just don't know it yet, because it's not a first order consequence. It's a 15th order consequence. By you doing this, taking that to meeting, 15 consequences after, 15 decisions after, something great is gonna happen. By you watching this video, 29 decisions afterwards, something great is gonna happen. But if you cannot see it, that doesn't mean it's not gonna happen. So just trust in the process. Keep pushing in what you're doing, keep experimenting, and stuff will happen. It's just amazing, okay? That has been it. I'm gonna go back, finish my client strategy, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow. This is the first day where we meet in San Diego and there's actually sun. So we're excited about that.